and today I'm going to be making a full video on every signing yesterday. I didn't want to make one by one because, let's be honest, it'll burn out basically its storage on my computer and just my brain in general, every single signing. So, let's get to the video. Free Agent Frenzy, always fun. The Blues have signed Torrey Krug to a 7-year deal with an average annual value of $6.5 million. I like this deal. I think maybe he got overpaid a little bit on the average annual value. I say maybe 5.5 would be a sufficient number for him. He's had some injury troubles the last few years, and that's what really brings it down. So the Blues definitely get a good blue liner here. So I'm happy for Torrey that he was able to sign a good long-term contract. But as we see with these long-term contracts, he basically as we see with these long-term packs, they don't really end up well usually. Towards the latter years, they become a bad bloated contract. So we'll have to see what happens here. I think that Torrey's young enough that that won't happen until maybe the very last year, but we'll see what happens there. The Maple Leafs have signed TJ Brodie to a 4-year, $20 million contract, and that's about an average annual value of $5 million, give or take a little bit, because each year may be a little bit different. But he's a really good blue liner, and I think that he has a really good tandem with one of the guys on their team. I can't tell you which one right now because I forget his name, but I think this is a really good contract. $20 million, really good deal for Brodie. He's a really solid defenseman. Very, very good signing for the Maple Leafs. 4 years, not that long too. So if they need to, they can get out of the contract a little bit early and buy him out towards that. I don't think they're going to need to buy him out, though. Okay, so the Flames have added Chris Tanev on a 4-year contract with an average annual value of $4.5 million. Okay, this is another good contract. I think maybe that they did really great on the years, but maybe overpaid a little bit. I think that maybe $4.3 million max should be the average annual value. I really think that 3.5 maybe around $3 million, 3 to 3.5 million would be sufficient annual value for him. Yeah. With that, let's get into the other signings. The Devils have signed goaltender Corey Crawford to a 2-year, $3.9 million average annual value deal. Okay, this is another good contract. I think that the years are spot on. And I also did another video on Corey Crawford below. You can probably see it somewhere. Please feel free to go to my videos and look up everything that I have there. I try and do the best content I can. So this is another one where I think they overpaid a little bit, but the years are spot on. I love the 2 years. He spent 13 years with the Blackhawks, so they're getting an established veteran presence to maybe lead their younger future guys and kind of be a little leadership role. And I also think that he's a pretty solid goaltender. I think that he's very serviceable. But I think that $3 million should be the max average annual value you're paying for him. Because let's be honest with ourselves. Since he got a vertigo, he never has been the same goaltender. He's kind of been on a slide lately, a dip lately. So I think that Crawford that 36-year-old is kind of catching up with his age here. And so let's get into the next signing. The Flames have signed Jacob Markstrom to a 6-year, $36 million deal. I love this. Markstrom's a very great goaltender. Definitely one of the top guys in my mind in the league right now. And they got into a 6-year pact, $36 million. I think that's a great deal. That's about $6 million a year. That's a great year. He could probably command around $7 million if he really wanted to. So, I think that this is a great pact. I think that this is a great contract. I think that the Flames really want their goaltending to be solidified for the future, and this signing really does that for them. They also re-signed Riddick, their goaltender, to back him up, so that they may actually have a really good goaltending tandem. I'd look out for their goaltending tandem this season. Let's go up next. Okay, the Canucks have signed Braden Holtby to a two-year, $8.6 million contract. Again, this is a great contract in the years-wise, but not the value-wise, monetary. I think that Holtby definitely declined last season. You cannot argue that he was definitely a valuable part of that Stanley Cup team, but I think he's kind of declined, and that his price should be probably around, for that two-year contract, around $6.6 million, around there, maybe 6.5, 6.4 million. That's what I would usually pay for him. He's kind of dipped. Let's see that if the Canucks can get a really solid goaltender here, and he can have two really up years and up his, performance and up his game. Okay, so the Nashville Predators have added Nick Cousins on a two-year, $3 million deal. A great signing, great monetary. I have really no complaints about this deal. Cousins is 27, so he's up a little bit more up there in the age-wise. That's why the two-year contract is great, so that they don't have to re-sign him if he has a great year next year, and if they don't, and if he doesn't, and they feel like buying him out, he only has one year left, and he has and that's a $3 million for the whole freaking 2 years. So basically, the cap hit won't be that bad. It'll probably be maybe $6 million if they decide to buy him out right now, which I don't see them doing that. So great deal. He's 5'11", and he's a winger that tallied about 25 points in 65 games. Very solid. I'd say maybe third, fourth liner for them is where he will be placed. Great signing. Okay, so the Panthers have I'm really sorry if I butchered his name, but the Panthers have inked Vinny Hinterstrozza to a one-year contract, and the deal's for $1 million. Again, I think that they could have gone a little bit lower, but I think the years-wise is great here. I really love the years-wise because he is 26, and he hasn't been the best over his years. But again, he was with Arizona. They're barely a team at this point. They're barely even in the league. They're not really competing for playoffs. Well, they're competing for playoffs, but they're not really championship level that you kind of want to see everybody at. So Hinterstoza definitely has something to prove, and I think that the Panthers might be a great place to do it. Again, they have that young core. He's 26, so he's definitely better. Maybe he can help lead some of the younger guys, because as you know, they've got a really good draft pick. I think we all know who I'm talking about. In that first round, they got a great steal there. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what Hinterstoza can bring to the Panthers. Okay, so the Bruins have bring back Kevin Miller on a one-year, $2 million deal. I love Kevin Miller. I love him. Every single franchise owned in the NHL EA series of games, I always try and get him. He's always one of the first guys I try to get, because that number 86 jersey guy can hit. He has an absolute great slap shot in the game. He's really good. And he's like that in real life too. He has a great slap shot, and he can definitely hit when he decides to use the body and be physical. That's when he's at his best. So I think that the Bruins did really great to bring him back into the mix. He is, making that $2 million for 1 year. So that's a great deal. If they really want to re-sign him, they can re-sign him again next year. But I think that this is really great, because he is honestly probably getting up there a little bit in age. So that 1 year allows him to also retire if he wants to, and maybe go somewhere else if he doesn't feel like he's fitting in this year, because he is 32. So maybe he can retire after this. Maybe he goes somewhere else on another 1 year deal. I love this signing. Okay, so the Ducks have inked Derek Grant to a 3-year contract with $1.5 million average annual value. That would make it about, so 2 times 1.5. Give me a second, I'm calculating this. I don't feel like using it in my head. Times 3. that'd be about 10.5 million. His contract is totally worth without the bonuses at all. So that's really good. $4.5 million is the pact. So I went over there just a little bit. But Grant, I think that he's a good physical forward. Really no complaints on the deal. Really good to get him at 3-year 4.5 for the whole time. So that's really great of them. But he's also 30, which means he's getting up there in age. So he'll be about 33 when this ends, so maybe he'll retire there. I don't really know. I can't really tell you, but I think this is a good deal. It's a really good deal for the Ducks to have him on. And if they don't feel like he's fitting in the next year or two, it's not going to be that much of a cap hit if they decide to buy him out. So, great contract. Okay, so the Capitals have signed Justin Schultz to a 2-year, $8 million deal. This is a really bad contract in my mind. I like Justin Schultz as much as the next guy, but his career has been riddled with injuries. I like the dude. I think that he's very serviceable when he's healthy. But for a 2-year, maybe I'd give him a 1-year deal. And $8 million, that's way overpaying. I think maybe $2 to $3 million for that whole 2-year deal could be sufficient because he has had, or you can go like $1 to $2 million for that 1 year. Do you really want to overpay him just a little bit? Yeah, that $2 million for 1 year. So he's 30 years old, and he's been riddled with injuries. He's kind of been declining with the Penguins the last 5 seasons, but he does have that Stanley Cup hardware, so he can probably bring veteran leadership and that Cup winning experience there, and probably get the Capitals to a different level. Of course, he's going to be playing with Ovi. Ovi always dominates, even at his age right now. He's like the Russian machine. He's like a robot. He's really good. So maybe Justin can be a good blue liner for them and kind of maybe tandem him up with the Ovi at forward and be a good forward defense tandem. Okay, so the Matt Benning has signed a 2-year, $2 million deal with the Nashville Predators. That's a 1-year. That's a average annual value of $1 million. Really great contract. I like Matt Benning. I think that he's very good defensively. I think that he will bring a lot to that Predators blue line. The Predators are definitely really known for having a great defense. I know that when the Cyclones, my favorite team, were affiliated with them, they were always stacked defensively. I don't pay much attention to them nowadays that we're not affiliated with them, but they were always stacked defensively. They always sent us really great, really physical defensemen to kind of develop, and I really like that. They've always been great defensively. Can't really hate on that because they're defensive minded. That's really great to have. The Ducks have inked Kevin Shattenkirk to a 3-year, $1.7 million contract. Great signing. Of course, he just won the Stanley Cup, but I believe that the Ducks get a really good guy right here because he has that. Of course, that Cup hardware. I think maybe just a little bit they're overpaying him for that 3 years, but he comes with the Cup hardware. But he did have 8 goals and 26 assists in 70 games. Very solid stats with the Lightning last year. And he was he added 3 tallies and 10 assists in the Stanley Cup run. So he was really good. He definitely helped that Stanley Cup running. So I think that the Ducks are really getting a good player here. The one concern I do have is he is on the older side. He is 31 years old currently, but he is a power play specialist and a puck moving defenseman. You always kind of want that. He has played 383, so definitely an established veteran in this league. He's played 383 games and amassed. Oh no, yeah, that's his point. And he amassed 172 of it on the power play. So he's really good on the power play. He's a really good power play quarterback. So he's played 679 games. So that's nothing to sneeze at. And he's tallied 83 goals and 300 assists over that time. Very good. Not much of a goal scorer, but can definitely assist like a god. Let's move on to the next signing. The Rangers add Jack Johnson. Oh God, this is a really bad signing on a 1-year deal. Jack Johnson has signed a $1.15 million deal with the Rangers. I don't like the signing at all. I think that maybe the really only good thing about this is the 1-year deal, but I think they overpaid a lot. Jack Johnson, ever since he left the Blue Jackets, has just not been good whatsoever. He's been a liability defensively, and I think that I just don't think that 33-year-old defenseman is very serviceable anymore in the blue line. I think that maybe AHL's second line is maybe the most he can do at this point. He has shown rapid decline. I don't like the signing. It's not a very good signing on the Rangers' part, and I'm really disappointed that they stooped so low to sign him. And this is another signing I don't like. Sabres, my favorite team, I'm shitting on my favorite team here, have signed Tobias Reeder to a 1-year contract. Okay, so maybe they can get some forward depth and some scoring here. But I don't think that a fourth liner is really good to spend that kind of money on. Well, of course, they only got him at $700,000, but he notched 10 points in 55 games with Calgary last season, and he's 27. He's definitely a veteran. He's played 434 games, so they haven't really made any other signings. Reader's the only one that they're bringing in, and I don't think he really, at this point, adds that many points to a full line. I could be wrong, and he could dominate next year, but I really don't see him being a good signing. Okay, so now next signing is the Predators signed Borowski to a 2-year, $4 million deal. 2 years, $4 million. That's about an average annual value of $2 million. Not too bad. I like this signing. Again, Nashville loading up defensively. Great player here. He spent his entire career in Ottawa, so he definitely, and he was the 5th round selection, so he's definitely had to grind for everything he had. And he's played, he's amassed 15 goals and 36 assists, and in 375 games. So not very big scoring wise and offensive wise, but he amassed 647 penalty minutes, and he had 1,505 hits in his career. So he's not much of a scorer, but he does bring that physical element that I love to see with defensemen. I love to see players that aren't afraid to hit and throw the body around, but legally, I don't like seeing dirty hits. So this could be a good signing, could be a bad signing. It really depends on who you like and what you like more. The Oilers have re-signed Tyler Ennis to a 1-year deal worth $1 million. I think that this is good. I think that the Oilers are getting somebody really good. He's definitely, for relatively cheap, he's a really good forward. He can score. He's 31 now, so that's maybe the reason that they get the 1-year deal. He's definitely getting up there in age, but he can definitely add some points. He can definitely add some physicality. He just adds a lot more than you think he does to a team. I love the signing. Next signing is the Panthers have signed Wenberg to a 1-year deal, reportedly worth $2.25 million. Good. Okay, that's a good signing. As you guys probably know by now, Wenberg was bought out by the Blue Jackets earlier this year. Well, not earlier this year, but in the past week he has been. And they signed him to a 1-year deal. That's really good. If he doesn't work out, you don't have to re-sign him, or you can trade him away, and it won't be that much of a deal to the next team that gets him. And he recorded 5 goals and 22 points, while logging an average of 16 minutes and 41 seconds in ice time through 57 games with the Blue Jackets in 1920, and he's amassed 40 goals and 201 points across 4.15. That's about a point every other game. He has about half the points he does, so that's really good. So he's really good. I think that this could be a really good signing for the Panthers. He definitely probably adds some more leadership, but he's also fairly young, so that he's not on the decline. This is a really good signing by Florida. Good job, Florida. You're picking up some really good guys. The Senators have signed Matt Murray to a 4-year, $25 million extension. Really good signing. I love this. Maybe a little bit of an overpayment, but it's Matt Murray. He comes with 2 different cups, and that was back-to-back years. He was probably instrumental in bringing those to Pittsburgh, too. So I love this. Averaging annual value is 6.25, but I still love it because, he brings that element of. He also brings the hardware, but he brings the veteran leadership, probably. I love the signing. Ottawa's definitely gearing up to have a very good season next year with having Murray in between the pipes. Okay, the Stars have signed Kudobin to a 3-year, $10 million deal. Again, I love this signing. Maybe a little bit of overpayment, just a bit. The average annual value is about 3.33. So I think maybe 3.25 would probably do it for him. Again, but I love the signing. Kudobin was a fucking god in that he definitely bailed them out of some bad situations because they didn't have their. I believe that he was originally supposed to be a backup, but Bishop got injured and he carried his team throughout the playoffs to the Stanley Cup final, where they eventually lost, I believe, in Game 6 to the eventual champion Tampa Bay Lightning. So, well, not eventual, they did win. That's who they beat to win. But I love that signing. They can probably build off the year he had, and he's definitely been a journeyman. He's spent years in the AHL, in the East AHL. He's spent a few years overseas, and he brings a lot of leadership, and he brings a lot of experience here. And he owned a 2.22 goals against average with a save percentage of 9.30. That's a really good save percentage. Decently good goals against average. I love this signing. Great signing by the Stars to get back one of their pieces, and let's hope that they can make a really good tandem with him and Bishop next year, and probably let's hope that they can make another cup run and hopefully win it all this year. I was really rooting for them. They're the team I was rooting for in the finals. Larson staying with the Coyotes. Ekman Larson staying with the Coyotes. Okay, not really much to say about that. Other than I think he's really good, but he's getting older, and I think that the right thing to do was keep him. I think that you'd have to be really stupid to try and get rid of. I get it for cap reasons. He's really good cap wise, but I think that they had to keep him. The Jets have re-signed Nathan. I'm sorry for this. Bailey to a 2-year, $2.5 million contract. I like this. I know that Nathan is a really good defense, not defenseman, a really good forward. He's 27 and he appeared for the Jets in 38 games, but he was originally acquired by the Sabres at the trade deadline of 1920. But he's played a decent 374 games, scoring 12 goals and 77 assists in that time. So not a big score, but also can definitely put up the points when you need him to. Now on to the next signing is the Oilers signed Kyle Turris to a 2-year deal, reported $3.3 million. I like this. The average annual value carries $1.65 million. That's okay. That's really good for him. Kyle Turris was really good this season, but he got bought out by the Preds because he had a bad contract, which that wasn't the Predators' fault whatsoever. That was more of the fault of Ottawa because they signed him to that. So yeah, he's 31. He's definitely up there in age. Probably can score some goals and points while also adding that experience and veteran leadership once again. Also important veteran leadership. I like the signing. Okay, so the Wild bring Cam Talbot to a 3-year, $11 million deal. Again, another great years. But just bad. Well, not bad, but I think you maybe could have gotten Talbot a little bit cheaper than $11 million for those 3 years. I think maybe $9 to $10 million would suffice for him. He's a really good puck stopper. He had a save percentage of 0.924, and he had a 2.42 goals against average through 10 postseason starts. He's also really good. I got to watch him. Well, I didn't really get to watch him, but he's always been really good. Yeah, I like the signing. He's really good. The Wild traded Dubnyk to the Sharks this week, and now they got somebody to replace him that's probably better than him. I like Dubnyk as much as the next guy, but I think that Talbot's the better goaltender out of the two of them. Next signing, the Panthers signed Radko Gudas to a 3-year contract, and the deal is worth $2.5 million. I love this deal. Definitely underpaid right here for a guy. He's really great. He's a really great defenseman to sign and add to the Panthers' blue line. I think that they got a steal with this guy. He signed for lower than what he could have gotten. But the Panthers also traded for Nudavara on Thursday, which set them back on upgrading the back end after being eliminated from the playoffs. So they're revamping the blue line, and that's really good to see. Okay, next, the Canucks signed Mott to a 2-year, $2.45 million deal. Another really great contract that years-wise, maybe you could have gotten a little bit cheaper on the monetary side of things, but he's really good. He was a 4th rounder by the Blackhawks in 2013, but he's kind of had a good career. He's played 187, so a good amount, but not like definitely great totals. Next signing. There's a lot of signings. The Lightning have brought back Maroon and Shen. Maroon was a 2-year, $1.8 million deal. Great guy. Physical, definitely instrumental in that freaking Stanley Cup run. He won back-to-back Stanley Cups, by the way. And they signed Luke Shen to a 1-year contract worth $800,000. I think that Shen was underpaid here. Shen's a steal. I think that Maroon got exactly what he should have gotten. 2 years at 1.8. Great guy. Back-to-back Stanley Cups. That's nothing to look at and just be like, no. Next signing, Red Wings inked Bobby Ryan to a 1-year deal. Ryan was with the Ottawa Senators, and he got bought out this year. And now the Red Wings have signed him to a 1-year deal. I like this because if Ryan turns out to have a career year and bring back up his totals, then the Red Wings are going to look like genius this year. But if he doesn't and he continues on the path he's on declining, it's also not bad because it's a 1-year deal. So basically, he's off the books. They just have to ride out this year, and if he doesn't work out, they don't have to resign him. Genius signing. The Lightning have placed Tyler Johnson on waivers. He's a really good player. Definitely, he comes with Stanley Cup hardware. He's 30 years old, but he's undersized, I believe, a little bit. But they were unable to get a trade done, so they bought him out. Now he's a free agent. I wouldn't expect him to be on free agency more than a few more days. So I just wanted to update you on that. Okay, Malcolm Subban and Dominic Pillbuck. I have no idea how to say that. I'm sorry if I butchered it. They've been re-signed. Subban's a goaltender. Pillbuck is a forward. Dominic's deal carries $3.7 million on a cap hit, and Subban's is a $850,000 deal. I like Subban. Great, very great serviceable back, former Vegas Golden Knights guy. Subban, not really much to say. Subban's a really great backup, very serviceable. And Dominic, who's 25, finished 3rd in Calder Trophy voting. So getting him for 2 years definitely helps out, because if he just completely falls off the map, you can buy him out and it won't be a big deal because he'll only have 1 year left after that. He's relatively cheap as well, so I like this. Well, he's not relatively cheap. He's at $3.7 million, but that's throughout the whole contract, so it'll probably be half that. So let's move on to the next signing. Okay, so the Leafs have signed Wayne Simmons to a 1-year, $1.5 million deal, and I believe he also has a full no-trade clause. That was stupid to give him that no-trade clause because he is 32, though he only has that 1 year if you want to trade him away. he can just waive that clause and you have to deal with him even if he's declining and just completely being a liability to the team. At least they're not pulling what Edmonton did with Lucic and putting into his contract that he can't be sent down to the minors. So, I think maybe that they could have gotten him a little cheaper and without the no trade clause for that 1 year, but overall good signing. Very solid player. He played for Buffalo. I never got my dream team. I never really got to watch him, but I believe that he's always been serviceable. With the Flyers, he was definitely really good. With that being said, let's move on to the next signing. The Canadiens have signed Victor Mete to a 1 year contract worth $7.35 million. Not 7.35, worth $735,000. And he was this year he was a restricted free agent after his entry-level contract had expired. He was 22 and he registered 11 points in 51 regular season games while getting 16 minutes per night. I think that this is a good signing. I think that maybe they should have gone for a 2-year deal and maybe paid a little bit more for Mott, but Montreal is getting a good defenseman back to the blue line. And I think that maybe this year you might see mid-season them trying to extend him. Because he was really good, really young, a lot of time to get a lot better too. Okay, so now the Capitals have signed Henrik Lundqvist to a 1-year deal. I love this signing. Hendrik's one of the best goaltenders in NHL history, and now the Capitals get them to replace Holtby. I think that Lundqvist is going to be the starter, and Samsonov's going to be the backup for Samsonov. I always loved Samsonov. I think that he has a great future in hockey. He just has to get that shot at starting, and he's going to completely dominate, but the contract is worth $1.5 million for that 1 year. I think maybe after this he might be done. He's with Washington this year, and he provides great leadership to the young goaltenders. Great signing, veteran-wise. Probably maybe should have gone a little bit cheaper for that 1 year deal, but overall I like the deal. Okay, so the Golden Knights trade Stastny to the Jets for Dahlstrom in a 4th rounder. So Stastny is re-upping with the Winnipeg Jets, and Dahlstrom is in a conditional 4th rounder going to Vegas. Really good. Okay, good trade. I believe that Dahlstrom is a very good veteran, as well as Stastny is. Stastny is an established veteran presence. And I think maybe Golden Knights have a better end of this trade because I believe Dahlstrom is younger. Next signing, the Blue Jackets trade, the next trade, the Jackets trade Murray to the Devils for a 5th round pick. Okay, good trade. Okay, so here's the next signing. Sabres Inc. Gorgensons to a 3-year contract, $2.2 million in average annual value. I like this signing. I think that Gorgensons is a good guy. He's 26-year-old, and he produced 6 goals and 7 assists over 69 games. Nice. The 69 part, not really the points part, but he failed to match his career heights of 15 goals and 30 assists in 14-15. But he was, but I believe that he could have a better season. I'm hoping he has a better season. Otherwise, the Sabres are going to be wasting money on him. I think maybe you should have gone for 2 years, and you should have gone around 1.5 to 2 million, not 2.2 million. So, even 2 million, I think, would be a little bit of an overpayment. But overall, I think that's a good contract if it does work out. If it doesn't work out, the Sabres might want to relook at, getting him out of there. Okay, so the Canadiens have signed Josh Anderson to a 7-year, $38.5 million deal. Anderson's always been a great player. I love him. I love how he's not afraid to fight. I love how he's great defensively. Great signing by the Canadiens, and I believe that that's really all there is to signing wise this year. I will tune in tomorrow for the signings from the rest of today.